Good morning, good evening. Welcome to this week's YouTube chat. We got Doug in the chat doing all the do-it's, going hard. It's great to see you in here, Doug. I am the princess, FYI, live stream consultants. So great to see you. Amazing yacht destinations. It's been a hot minute since I've seen you in a chat. So good to see you. I know it's so early for you, and I very much appreciate you jumping in. I've got coffee. This is required coffee. This is my second cup for today. I haven't had it yet. Do you have a beverage in your hands as well? So I wanted to have a chat today. We all know that when YouTube starts talking about something, it's obvious it's really important to them, right? And I noticed, I think it was yesterday, that different members of the YouTube team are chatting about YouTube on television and how many views that YouTube are getting on television. Where's my magic wand? It's away. It's tucked away. It's safe. And so YouTube are pushing they're getting 1 billion views on televisions every single day. And it made me think, like Doug knows I've got a bee in my bonnet about people who don't have their channel art optimized for television. And it's one of these things, it's like it's a job that won't take long. Once it's done, you can leave it alone for a while. I've made a template. It's not hard. So in the description, I do have the link to my template. Let me know in the chat. Is your channel art optimized for television? Because I was having a look through, I've got a couple of different channels, and I was having a look through the back end of both of those just to see the percentage of my views that are watching on televisions. Because obviously every channel's a little bit different and their audience are watching in different places. But one thing I can tell you is that I took some screenshots. I should have set them up, but I didn't. I took some screenshots. I don't know, it was a while back when Nick was talking about how we can look at the different alternatives. So what was that, a couple of months ago? The percentage of my viewers who were watching on TV has increased. Now, it's not like, jumped from 10% to 40% or anything like that, but it has jumped from about the 9 to 10% up to 15 to 20% depending on the account I'm looking at. And that is an increase, and it's just going to get more over time. So I want to give an example here. My husband, not a YouTube nerd, right, is now regularly watching YouTube on television. All the different channels, all the different things that he normally watches, that he would normally watch on his tablet or on his phone, but now he watches them on television. And so this is somebody who is not, like a massively early adopter or anything like that, but this is somebody who is watching their YouTube just from a viewer experience who prefers the television. And there are different audiences that skew different ways, and obviously at different times of the day. Like if they're traveling to work, they're going to probably watch it on their phones or their tablets, right? Let's be honest. So you got to think about your audience individually. So let me know in the chat, have you checked, do you know how to look to see what percentage of your views are actually coming through on TV, on desktop, on mobile, on tablet? It's actually split out into the 4 options. Livestream consultant says, I know where it is. It's with your giant band hammer. No, I do have a little wand, because we do birthday wishes and we have to grant them with a little wand. Russell says, I seem to recall setting up for all possibilities. Oh, that's good. So now the next question is, how long ago was that? Because YouTube you now need a different template. And what's really bizarre to me is the number of templates that are still being put out there that are just a stock standard, big square one for TV, narrow ones for, the narrow ones for mobile and desktop. And you're just like, well, that's actually not it anymore. So my template goes into more detail for that. Let's have a look here. Russell says that 70% of his views are on TV. So is that 70% of the YouTube you watch, or 70% of the people watching your channel? Just to clarify for my very early morning non-caffeinated brain. Live stream consultant says mostly I can do a little better to make better use out of the space. Absolutely. Doug's in here dropping how to get to that data. So that is super, super important. So, you know, I'm not a hardcore data nerd. Some people are hardcore data nerds. I'm a moderate data nerd. But this is something I have a little look at every now and again. I look at it and I go, this is really interesting. Now, depending on the kind of content you're making, right? And depending on how people are watching it, if the majority of your audience are mobile watchers and you're making it so they've got to sort of pinch to zoom to look at everything, then, you know, you do want to be, you know, a little bit fluid, but you've got to realize that if the majority of your audience are watching on mobile, you need to make your video clear for mobile. If the majority of audience are watching on TV, you've got to make it clear for TV, which is actually a lot easier because it's, you know, bigger and in their faces. Oh, thank you. 70% of the people that watch my channel watch on TV. Thank you. Because this is the thing, like if we're making long form content, so if you're a shorts channel, majority of your views will be on mobile because you're making shorts, which is a mobile first experience. You absolutely can watch shorts on television. I actually get frustrated that I'm offered shorts on television because I've got like a, you know, big TV and then it's like this little narrow bit in the middle is where the content is. It does bug me. I'm like, if I'm watching on TV, I'm not here for shorts. If I'm on my phone, I'll probably be more inclined to watch shorts. Alrighty, so I do have, let me just see if I can screen share because I can't always screen share. There we go. So I'm just going to toggle the sidebar. Bye-bye sidebar. Okay, so this is my YouTube channel banner art. Okay, so this is what I've been talking about. This is the thing. So historically, you've had the grey box on the outside with the little blue boxes in the middle. And that's how most people are setting up their channel art for television. So they're really focusing on that bit for mobile. And I'm not saying don't. I'm not saying don't. I'm saying you need to do all of it. You know how usually I'm a bit like, oh, just do it. No, in this instance, you need to do all of it, okay? So you do need to make sure that your titles and imagery is not being clipped off by this mobile border, okay? You need to make sure that you know, you're not putting anything important in this section here, this corner, because if they're watching on TV, it's going to have Chantelle Hills and a couple of rows of your about section are going to be here. And it's just going to cover whatever is in this corner. So if it's just a bit of an image, that's cool, no problems. But if it's like imperative data that you are covering, so anybody who goes to your channel on their televisions, this will be covered over. It's sort of like this. It's a bit transparent. You can see through it, but your view is, you know, blocked. And then here we've got the TV first playlist title, and then you've got your playlist description will be under that. But if you have if you've gone to the effort to write a good long playlist description, it's going to cover the width of your screen. Okay, it's going to cover that. And then whatever is in your first playlist. So when you're looking at the channel that you've set up, the very first playlist that you have is the playlist that will come across here, and you'll get little squares of each person's, you know, of each of the videos. So when you are setting up for TV, when you are setting up your channel art, you need to tick all of these boxes. Now, I've got a link in the description. It's totally free to go and grab it, download it, use it in the software that you're using to create your banner art. Sort of make it a bit transparent, bring it back up, drop it back down, line everything up. Doug's got a fantastic tutorial over on his channel about channel art, and so does the Creator Classroom. They did a collab. Doug, if you are around, please feel free to drop the links to those. But this is a really great template, and I got some really fantastic feedback for some, like Aline Smith, and just, you know, a couple of other people who sent me some messages, just I was surprised at how, happy with this people were, to be honest. And then, not a lot of people have actually optimized their channels for TV, because it is kind of newish, right? Like, in the scheme of, most people's channels, they set up their channel art however long ago. And it's like, well, I made channel art 5 years ago, 7 years ago, 10 years ago. It's still there. It still has my name on it. It still has everything on it. But you do need to go in and have a look at. Wallace, it's good to see you. Thanks for jumping in. Russell says, but here's the thing that I get around 1,000 views a day on TV and not once has anyone commented on my channel art. Most people won't. I don't know of anyone that'll comment on it, but if this is real estate you're not utilizing. It's one of these things. It's like as Justin says, sometimes it's a nice to have. And I actually think it's one of these things where if your branding is important to your channel, to your business, you are leaving real estate for free branding. And yeah, Russell, if you've got a VA or you've got someone who would do that for you, then go for it. But the majority of people that I work with are one-man bands. They're doing this all themselves, so they don't have anyone to come in and do it for them. So, we do have to look at these from our own perspectives, and you need to look at your own priorities, and you need to judge this for yourself and for your business. And yeah, this may not be a job for you. This might be a job for a VA, or it may be a job for your graphic designer, or whoever you've got on your team that does all your art. But somebody needs to do it. Oh, Doug's dropped in his link. Thank you, Doug. Thank you, Doug. Alrighty. Back to there. There we go. So yeah, there's a link in the description. And you can go in and grab that. And Russell, no, I don't have any data on this at all. I don't know if there is any data available to see who's clicking through to home pages on TVs at this stage. Amazing Yacht Destination says, I wish they would give us separate files for different types of viewer sources, and then you could actually optimize for each. Yeah, it would be an interesting way to do it, I think. And you've got, see, I kind of understand why it's all done in one, because then YouTube don't have to have storage for each individual file and don't have to grab a separate file for depending on a viewer's thing. All they're doing is broadening an existing image. I have no idea of the back end of how it works, honestly. But yeah, I think it would be an interesting way to do it. But yeah, so let me know in the chat, like, do you have your channel art optimized for television? This is a hill I'm going to probably die on, honestly. I just truly believe that when YouTube has a discussion point about something, when YouTube staff in various departments of the company are talking about it over on LinkedIn, that Renee Ritchie's tweeting about it on socials, you don't sleep on that. It's obviously important to YouTube that the how many views are coming through televisions. So, oh, actually, you're right. They do. I do have to upload separate banners for all the different things. Maybe it's a throwback from when people only, because like YouTube came out when people were only using YouTube on their computers, and it's been, it's been sort of, it's grown over time. My brain just totally froze then. It's like I just need one of those like little swirly, like the offline ring, the buffering is the word I'm looking for. But yeah, it's probably a throwback from the fact that it used to be television only, and then it used to be desktop only, and then they added in mobile, and then they added in television. So yeah. Yeah. So it's just one of those things. And now I've just realized my phone is not on. Yeah, there it is. Sorry about that. It was doing its buzzings. These are the same staff that changed comments to community. That was huge. Yeah, look, I think one of the things is they're constantly tweaking and changing things, but these, you need to keep up to date with what YouTube are naming things. So if you tell your community, I'll go and post that in the community tab, and they go looking for the community tab, it doesn't exist anymore. It's a posts tab, which I think is stupid. Like let's be honest here. I think it should have been left alone and left as community. It makes more sense as a community tab, in my opinion. But if you're telling your audience, hey, look, I've got a poll over in the community tab, if they're new to YouTube or if they're new to your channel or in any way, then you've got to talk to them in the language that YouTube has made it. So whether you agree with it or not, whether I agree with it or not, doesn't matter. That's what it is now. And you need to just accept it and help your audience by educating them in what it's actually called. Now, one place I do struggle really hard with this is Twitter. Like, I should just, a spoon of my own medicine here. I constantly call it Twitter because in my brain, X, it's just not X, but it is X. And I have to, every now and again, I'm starting to, it's taken me a long time. All right. I switched from community to posts a lot faster than I have from Twitter to X, honestly. But, and sometimes we do slip and things like that, but it's an effort yeah, that's exactly right. Tweet or post at this point. I know. Like what is it? Are we posting or tweeting? And I still think of it as tweeting on Twitter. And that's somewhere I have to get past it because it has been renamed and new audience are coming in and they are using X and they are posting on X. And if we are in this world of online marketing, online media, we need to keep up just as much as we expect our audiences to keep up. And we actually need to keep up slightly ahead of them so we can help them to keep up. So over on my Fiberific channel, we have discussions all the time about this sort of stuff. We're like, like for a bunch of, mostly middle-aged women and older, they are pretty well versed in YouTube now. I'm just going back to my live streaming screen just so I can just keep an eye on the connection. And that is because I explain things to them. Like we've got the top fans thing here in the chat, which I really wish we could turn off. Like, let's be honest, I really do wish I could turn it off. There is a time and a place to gamify your live streams. It's a little bit of fun, whatever. And it's probably neither here nor there on my streams, but there are very serious streams out there talking about very serious topics that have the crowns. So let me know in the chat, like, how do you feel about keeping your audience apprised of the changes and also of, wishing you could turn off the crowns? Because like for gaming channels, it's awesome. It's exactly what they need. But gamers are not the only people live streaming. And I wish I had some data on that. I wish I knew exactly the percentage of gamers versus non-gaming live streams that are out there to work out, am I like delusional, which is a legitimate possibility. Am I delusional in thinking that there are so many people who are not gamers live streaming? So constantly trying to turn the YouTube live stream experience into Twitch live stream experience where it is a gamers dominated industry just doesn't make sense. Let me have a look here. Doug says agreed. Amazing yacht destination. Come on, little comment. They're moving fast. Amazing yacht. Yes, I wish they changed it that you could switch it on and off. Me too. I really do hope they bring that in. It's new and it's not rolled out everywhere yet. So I think it's still in a little bit of testing. So I'm really hoping they take that feedback on board and just add in a switch. Livestream Consultant says, I also agree that we as creators should have the ability to turn off or on any major feature that does not fit with your channel or stream. Doug says, I've seen people asking about it in many different types of lives, channels wanting to turn it off, and viewers confused about what it means. Doug says, I've dropped 2 lots of feedback on it. I've dropped 1 lot of feedback. So when we say we drop feedback, so when you go into your dashboard, there's a spot at the bottom where you can add in feedback. So you can, every viewer can add feedback to YouTube. So you as a viewer and you as a channel can go in and add feedback. So the more of us that add the feedback on this, the more likely they are to actually take notice. So you should, like, if you feel strongly about it as I do, and as I think Doug does, then please go and drop that in as well. So yeah, I used to really get frustrated by the live reactions, and that's how they, like, as from a moderator perspective, they were in the way. They were legitimately in the way, and it took what I felt like to be quite a long time for YouTube to actually move them or make them so we didn't have to have them on. Because I understand that they're a great way for YouTube to see if people are enjoying and exactly which point did they put the love hearts and, you know, all that sort of stuff. You can gather data from it. But when it is intrusive, is it really a benefit? So I don't know. I don't know the answers. I don't know the answers to everything. I have opinions on things. I'll share those opinions. I know how to do some stuff, but I don't have the answers for everything. I also wish that you could turn off the emote, especially on mobile as view. Well, you can, can't you? Or is it, or it might be streamer level that turns it off. It might be streamer level. It's not a global thing, actually, because I don't have it on anymore. They should. I'm just going to double check. Like I say this, but it should be off. No, my live reactions are on again. Save. They're off now. There we go. Sorry, I had it set, and looks like we need to go in and check that setting every now and again. I went in Amazing Yachts Destinations and had a look, and it was on. So I've turned it off again because I had set my defaults to be not on. So it looks like that's been switched again. So this is the thing, like quite often, a lot of people, and I'm not going to say it's you, but it's definitely me. You go in, you set something up, and you think it's done, but then in one of YouTube's shuffles, they may turn something back on again. So we do have to be vigilant and go in and check these things. I had no idea that was still on because I couldn't see it on my screens here that I have. I'm trying to think why I couldn't see it. No, but I couldn't see it. So, well, it's off now. Sorry about that. And I'll have to double check after the stream to make sure it's off in my defaults again. Goodness me, these things that happen, hey? These things that happen. So thank you for letting me know that was actually still on. But yeah, it's frustrating, right? That the streamer level has to do it. So with the top fans and the leaderboard, it's called the leaderboard. The streamer can't do it. It's only a user by user can go in and turn it off. And whereas it looks like with the reactions, only the streamer can turn the reactions off and on, and the viewers can't turn it off and on. And it's just like, why is there not just an option, like, you know, I don't know. It's probably hard to do, and I don't understand all the intricacies behind it and all the stuff that happens behind the stuff that happens. The flow on into the analytics, the flow on into, You know, like I don't understand it. Yeah, I thought the viewer could turn it off, but I don't know. I don't know. But with the leaderboard, the viewer can turn the leaderboard off. So if you don't want to be part of leaderboard, now you will still be able to look at the top fans and see, like I can see right now that Amazing Yacht Destination's number 1, Livestream Consultants is number 2, and Russell is number 3, with Wallace sneaking in at number 4. I can see that, but you can actually turn it off yourself. Doug, are you able to throw a link in for how to turn that off? I'm not sure if you're home or if you're on the bus or what you're doing. Let me know if you need me to go and grab it, but I can if I need to. But yeah, so there is a way that you can turn off leaderboard as the viewer. And you'll need to turn that off or on depending on the stream that you're watching. So when you turn it off for every stream you watch. So if you don't like it and never want to see it, you can turn that off. But if you want to be part of a leaderboard for a particular kind of stream, you can just jump back in and toggle it back on. So yeah, it's just one of those things where it'd be really nice if you were on the stream, if there was a toggle right here in the stream that you could toggle it off and on. That would be cool. But no, it's in our personal channel settings. So so it's not in your studio. It's in your settings, like your broader, you know, log-on settings rather than your individual channel settings. So Doug's just finding that link, so that's awesome. So you'll be able to see how to do that. It's not difficult to do. It's just like you've got to click the right things to find the right spot. So yeah, but it's I don't know, this thing with the television thing. Because I do keep a little eye on LinkedIn. Hey Aline, I was chatting about you earlier. Yeah, so when YouTube does come out and starts talking about something, and it's not just from one person at YouTube, but a few different departments at YouTube, you do need to sit up and take notice, and whether or not you feel that it's worthy of your time is a whole nother conversation. But somebody needs to be looking and keeping an eye on what YouTube want, because we know that when they start pushing something, if you're ready, you can gain a little bit of extra traction. If you're not ready, you may be a little bit behind. So, you know, they let us know. Aline's off to bed. Oh, you found it on your mobile app and turned it off? Awesome. Doug's dropped the link in here, so you can go in and do that. And Livestream Consultants has grabbed the directions as well, so everyone can go in and turn that off if they want. Unfortunately, I can't turn it off from my channel level for you. This is a you thing. You're going to have to go in and individually do it. I have no plans to utilize leaderboard at this stage. It's one of these things where it's like YouTube's pushing leaderboard, but it actually doesn't suit my kind of content. Whereas when it comes to the viewer experience, that's not on a content by content, that's on a viewer by viewer. So, you know, you've got to decide what you're going to do with your time, I suppose. But even just going in and double checking, like I do know that that people do have channel art files out there. These do exist where they've created their image, they've filled out their little bits, and then they've left bits around the outside of it thinking no one's ever going to see it. Well, now people can see it. So if you've got like an extra long bit of one image, or, you know, like part of a shot you wanted to crop out, but you didn't actually crop the shot, you just cropped it when it went in. Well, now anybody who goes into YouTube on their television and searches for your channel, they will see whatever it is that you've just left in that image. Now, I'm not saying that you guys have done that, but I do know that those things do exist. And they're the ones that will be really impacted, are those that have gone in and don't have the clean boxes around. So it'll just appear black on YouTube televisions, which is not terrible. But the ones that'll have whatever their color is in the middle with all their extra bits dangling above and below that line, that usually they would think no one's going to see those because you can't see it on the desktop and you can't see it on the mobile. They're going to see it on the TV. Doug, I agree with you. Like, if the leaderboard actually did something meaningful, like if the person who won on the leaderboard in a stream was able to get, like, I don't know, a free month of YouTube Premium or something like that. But in saying that, again, then that gamifies the content. And depending on the style of stream that you're doing, is that still appropriate? I don't know. I don't know the answers to all this. I know that there are instances where I think, like, if you're watching, like, I don't know, like one of those legal streams, those people who run the live streams during court cases, can you imagine how tacky this would look over the top of some impending court battle that is just, like, devastating? And then you've got YouTube's leaderboard over the top of it. Oh, who's commenting the most? Oh, look at this winner. That bugs me a bit. You know, like for mine, it's neither here nor there. That's like, whatever. Doesn't look great. I'm not utilizing it. But there are instances where it will just look bad. And it will look like the streamer has done it, because a lot of people don't realize the streamers can't turn it off. If YouTube has given it to your channel, there you go, from Lord's YouTube. If YouTube have put it on your channel, you cannot turn it off at this stage. So if you have it and you're running, like, business-related streams, if you're running like because I think it still appears even if in private streams, in private chat. So if you're running a webinar, it's going to be there. So yeah, I don't know. I think it might be worthy of some report, like some, you know, worthy of some feedback reports. Wallace says TV for family and friends versus phone alone. Well, see, that doesn't, like, in our household, that doesn't, you know, isn't how it works. My husband's got a TV in his little, you know, what do we call that space? Rat's nest? It's not a rat's nest. It's a, it's not the man cave. We've got a name for it. My brain just won't tell me what it is. Anyway, Tim's got a spot for his TV where his desk for his work is. He's got a little couch there just to relax and sit back, because we don't have a huge house, but we do have this, like, a little separate spot. So I'll be watching YouTube on TV in the living room, and he'll be watching YouTube on the TV in his space. And we'll be watching totally different content. You know, every now and again, one of us will walk past the other one and sit down and be like, oh, what's this? You know, but quite often we have very different viewing that we like to watch. We both like to watch very different content, which is the point of having separate accounts, so that we can all watch our varying content. But yeah, so and I know that's not the case for everybody, but that is definitely the case for more people. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think we can even just narrow it down, because, like, if you are a live alone, you can have YouTube on your TV and it doesn't affect anybody else. So I don't know. Or if you know, if you're in a share house situation, you watch TV in your bedroom, then again, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's a way to sort of quantify that, which is, you know, which is the best for which instance, because I think it's such an individual choice. I know I personally wouldn't like to be told that you could only have one YouTube playing at a time in a house. So Russell says, so here's a question. How many channels have either of you watched where you reconsidered watching because the channel banner was hokey? Look, there's channels that I have, I mean, I've not watched the content, but I've thought, well, they could try harder. Because it's not hard to put in channel art. It's a quick job, really. It's just something fast. Now, for the majority of it, just like YouTube on the desktop, if you're on the home screen, you're not seeing the home pages. It's more if you're searching for the channel. So if you are searching for a channel and you go and click the channel, it's the same as when you're on desktop or on your phone. you're not really going to see much of the channel art. It's more the icon when you're doing the searches on television. So I don't know, Russell, like you get to decide. It's your channel. If you want to have, as you've written here, a hokey channel art, you can have hokey channel art. And it may or may not deter viewers, but it will look unprofessional. So it's your call. So especially if you're like, and when I say it looks unprofessional, if you're just having a fun life channel, whatever, that doesn't matter. But if you're running a business and you have branding, you need to keep your branding consistent across all your platforms. If you are not making sure that that branding is tidy, people are going to notice. My son watches TV on, YouTube on the TV. I do when I go to bed, but live streams I rather watch on mobile and PC to be able to comment. I'm that weird person. So when I'm moderating a stream, this is exactly where I sit usually. I don't even usually do it on my laptop. I want a keyboard, right? I want a keyboard. I want a mouse. I want screens. I need a second screen because if they're asking questions, I want to be able to run and grab a link. So, without having to, put the chat in the background, I want to be able to see while I'm searching, like, oh, wait, such and such needs timing out or whatever. I still need to keep an eye on that. So when I'm moderating, I want a keyboard. But when I'm just participating in a chat, I'll actually have the stream on the television and then chat on my phone or on my laptop. I'll have it open on both. So I can have the TV. So I can have the big viewer experience with the good sound, right? And again, this is all personal. So, I want to have that big TV with the good sound. But then I still get to chat if I want to. So, or just listen for a bit. So yeah, I don't know. It's an individual thing. It's totally an individual thing. So yeah. But when I'm moderating, yeah. I want a keyboard. I don't even want my laptop keyboard. I want like a legit proper keyboard with numbers and like I think the old numbers on your keyboard thing. Like, let me know. Is this an age thing? Like, I want numbers on my keyboard. I don't want the little short keyboard where I have to do the numbers and like shift numbers, like at the top. I don't want that. I want a number pad on the side. And I think it's an age thing. It's an age thing. Let me know in the chat. If it's an age thing or not, or if it's just a me thing. It could legit be a me thing. I don't know. I like a number pad on my keyboard. And it's probably a throwback to when I was a data entry clerk and I was just typing numbers all day. And I just was like, I just need, just need to type all these numbers. I can type the word installation really quickly because it was numbers, LR, and installation was what I typed. And I can tell you it really increased my number typing speed. I think 6,400 keystrokes was the last time I did a test a few years back. But that's numbers. That was numbers when I have a number pad. If I don't have a number pad, it goes down to like 5. It's a you thing. It probably is. It probably is. Oh, I like a number pad, honestly. I've got a friend who likes number pads so much that she actually has a number pad that she plugs into her laptop. And it could be like coming from like accounting and like I was an accounts clerk for a long time. And so, when you're typing a lot of numbers all the time, I just find it to be a lot easier to like just one-hand it on a number pad rather than two-handing the different numbers. So I don't know. And I suppose if you're just doing a lot of anyway, it's probably a me thing. Wallace says number pad, type faster, unstoppable faster. Yep, that's probably it. Livestream consultant says the only thing I use a number pad for is a poor man's Stream Deck. Look, it's a legit option for a Stream Deck. Yeah, Amazing Yacht Destination says, yeah, I also want a numpad on a keyboard. The small keyboard reminds me of the typewriter. I hated them. I only did it at school to be able to type faster. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like, I get, especially if you're like placing gently your keyboard into a backpack or traveling with it. I get having the smaller keyboard. I really do. But I just like a number pad. Like, I look at the, what is it? It's the little white ones that Mac has, that Apple has. And, you know, yeah, one of those things. Russell says here, it's not that I do or don't want my channel art perfect or my color grading perfect or my transition seamless, etc. But I do find one can use these things similar to shiny objects to avoid changes that will actually take you to the next level that most claim to aspire to. Possibly. I just look at this as it's just a really quick job. Like, it's not something that should be taking you, you know, ages to get done. And sometimes it's just a look at it to double check you don't have any of the hanging bits that I was talking about, because they are the bits that will look bad. I don't know. I mean, some people look at any kind of branding as a shiny object to avoid what will, you know, that it's not important. Some people really do look at that. But I know of people that look at YouTube channels. Now, this is admittedly from a crafter's perspective. They will look at a designer's YouTube channel, and if there is no banner art, because some of them don't, they just leave it with just their name. They don't put anything else. But then they put a plethora of great videos in. People look at it and think it's a scam channel. They don't think it's a legit channel. So I think it's important to put in a little bit of effort into your branding. Double check that it's not bad. Double check that it's not wrong. And double check that it's up to date, because stuff changes. Especially back in the day, like, do you remember when everybody was putting the little arrow to like click, was it the subscribe box that was just there? And they all have that, you know, the red arrow that was to click there, and the subscribe box left. So everyone had these red arrows that clicked to nowhere. It's always important just to go through and just do a really quick check to make sure that no changes have come in that render parts of your art useless or looks out of date. So I consider it to be part of like a quarterly check. It's just part of a list, a checklist of things, just to make sure that all the links still work. You should be doing it on your website. And it may not have to be you. It could be a VA, whatever. Somebody should be going in double checking every few months that your links aren't dead on your websites, that they're not dead on your socials, that they are going to where they're supposed to be going. Because if you've got somebody watching your content, you've gone to all that effort, you've made an enticing video on a topic that interests somebody with a thumbnail and a title that got you the click, and then you want to send them onto an email list or onto your website or whatever, you need to be making sure that everything's working. And I think your channel art should be added into that list. Making sure that all your links are working, that your channel art is up to date. You don't want to have, like, some people have like new video Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but now they actually do them Tuesday, Thursday, Saturdays. They need to be doing that. The other thing is, I don't actually agree with the new video Monday, Thursday, Friday, because what time zone is that? Is that your time zone? If you're going to put that in there, put your time zone in. Not everybody bases their life around American time zones, and even Americans have different time zones. I mean, it's not usually from day to day, it's usually just hours, but, you know, it's one of those things. Little Crafty Nook, hello, how are you going? We're talking about YouTube channel art today, and the things that we do. Keep an eye on things. Oh, that's such a pet peeve of mine. You know, especially when YouTube or someone comes out and goes, this will be available in summer. And you're just like, oh, man, that's going to be like 6 months away. And they're like, well, no, it's only, next month. And you're just like, no, summer for me is 6 months away. So yeah, it's, I think, utilize the month, people. We all use the same months. Or do we? I'm like, do we? Does every country utilize? I mean, obviously their language might call them something Does every country have a 12-month calendar year? I don't know the answer to that. Far out. I just assumed they did. There we go. I made an assumption as well. Yeah, you still need to figure out how to get the best look for all three. I agree. I've got a I don't know if you've seen it yet, but over on my website, there's a link in the description for a free template you can use to look at your channel art. Livestream consultant says, amen to that. We only have 8 different time zones. We only have like what 8 different time zones. We have like 5 just in the lower 48. Yeah. Like that's the thing. We've you know, like the one thing I do like is like when I schedule a live stream, I schedule it in my local time. But when you look at the live stream, it'll tell you your local time or the time you've set up in YouTube. So that's a good thing. That's a super useful tool, right? And saying that, I think it was Russell was asking me what time my stream was last week, and I was trying to work it out, and I was like, was it 6 Eastern or 7 Eastern? Luckily, he could work it out because I just couldn't. But like I know my time zones, and I know that there are different time zones. So yeah. Live John says, I know that people like saying 8 p.m. EST or whatever, and maybe putting that into social media posts, but yeah, let the machines process the time zone differences. Like I think so, but also if you've got it on a banner art, like channel art, you're like, you know, posting Monday, Thursday, Fridays, you need to put your time zone in, especially if you're expecting your audience to jump on that video and go looking for it the second it's uploaded, which I know some people do. They're like, well, I post every, you know, like for me on a Thursday, my Thursday at 10 a.m. I live stream every week unless, you know, I'm sick or traveling. So, you know, it's just, I have that at that time, at that same bat time, same bat station, so people get used to what time it is for them and it doesn't move around, it doesn't change. Sorry, I'm still not 100%, honestly. I'm feeling a little peaked today. Didn't sleep the best, but yeah, so just having it in there, like if you are going to put in days or times when you're going to drop a video, add in your time zone. I personally don't think you need to be adding in your days and times as a personal preference, but if you do, you need to put your time zone in. Livestream consultant says that my stream here starts at 5 p.m. in Mountain Time. Nice. Oh, Thailand, we're in the year 2586, but as a Westerner, it's still 2025. Really confusing when you see Google results, it says Tau years, so never sure if it's long ago or not. See, there you go. I did not, Thai years, sorry. I did not, I didn't even consider that the year could be different because it's a construct based around Christianity, and if you're not a Christian, like Thailand's not a Christian based country, so why would their calendar dates be based around Christianity? So it makes sense, but I'd never considered it. Like, yeah. Wow. That is, you know, when you sort of start thinking about things and your brain just goes, no, we don't. We don't need to talk about Y2K. Oh my gosh. I was working in the tech department when it was all happening. And yeah, there was much discussion about when Y2K actually was. Was it like at midnight or 12:01 on the 1st of January 2000? Or was it actually, you know, 12:01 on the 1st of January 2001? Anyway, it's very weird. It's very weird. Russell says, strange, but when I search my YouTube channel, my profile pic comes up, but not my channel art. Yes. So when you're doing the search, it's just your profile pic. So you need to make sure that pic is good, right? We're so used to being so small, it doesn't matter. Now it matters because on TV. Like you're like, oh, I might need a less blurry photo or whatever. As long as you're happy with it, you're happy with it. But it's when you click on that and you go to the channel that you see the channel art. So yeah. Oh, right, exactly. That's so weird. Yeah, the whole calendar thing is a Roman Christian thing. Yes, it is. Absolutely. I was working at a hospital that night too. The equipment did not shut down. I remember we had a party. There was a party and we had we had all sorts of stupid stuff around, like life rings and things, because if the world's coming to an end, there'll probably be a tsunami and a flood. So it was, we were just dumb. We were just so dumb. Frankie TV, you've made it. There's snow in Western Australia. Are you kidding? I didn't even know that was possible. Oh my gosh. I'm going to write it down so that I can check out. I'm going to go and check some photos. So the Stirling Ranges. Gosh, it's got to be cold. Bluff Knoll. We get snow in Queensland, real southern every now and again, but there is tales of a time when there was snow in Brisbane CBD. I think it was 70s or 80s. It was like a freak occurrence, but we've gotten snow up this far north. Sorry, Bluff Knoll is what I've got to write. There we go. Well, I mean, we do get snow in Australia, but just not all locations get snow. So, New South Wales gets some snow, mostly around sort of one region of mountains. I mean, I don't even know, right? Like, I personally have not seen snow in Australia. So yeah, whereas my daughter went and worked in the snowfields last year. That would be a freak occurrence. The last time I was in Brisbane, I could barely leave my hotel room in fear of spontaneously combusting. It does get warm. Yeah, it does get warm and also humid. So you're like, oh, someone would be like, oh, it's only 30 degrees. What are you talking about? We get 40 degrees. I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, now add 99% humidity to that and then tell me that you feel fine. Like, you literally feel like you're walking through hot soup. That says more about how often you're in the kitchen. Sorry. My husband's working from home today. And someone's just rung him. And he's like, oh, you've caught me with a snack in my mouth. I'm just, every time you ring, I'm in the kitchen. Amazing Yacht Destination says, my friend in the Blue Mountains had snow 2 weeks ago. Yeah, the Blue Mountains get snow occasionally. It gets bitterly cold a lot, but it doesn't always snow. But it is snowing this year. We're having a crazy, like, my husband and daughter are going down skiing in a couple of weeks. And usually at this time of the year, they'd be so worried if there's even going to be snow. But they have been getting so many snow dumps down there that they're actually like so looking forward to it. So yeah. Russell says, so I looked at it and while there's a couple of fine points I could improve, I'm overhauling my playlist to optimize for sales versus views. So I'm playing with it then. Yeah, awesome. That's awesome. And that's the thing, like when you're looking at your playlists, you need to decide what's going to work better for what it is that you want, right? And you want sales versus views, right? Which makes sense. So making sure you're optimizing your playlists for search, not just in YouTube, but also in Google, like all this, Russell. Optimizing your playlists so that they come in search. So that's giving your playlist a relevant title, just like an actual title of a video. You need to be thinking about relevant titles in the same way for your playlists. You need a relevant description because all of this will bring it up in Google search as well, not just YouTube search. So if you've got a business behind your YouTube channel, you want that. You want that a lot. Livestream consultant says, if it gets ugly here in winter, we could see on the high end 6 to 12 inches of that nasty white stuff in the southern deserts of New Mexico. Wow. And 1 to 2 feet in the mountains. I watch a lot of Matt's Off-Road Recovery, right? So he's in Utah, lots of deserts. But he has a snow machine, like a what's he call it? It's the Bombi. It's like on Caterpillar tracks. It's a, I don't know, I can't think of what it's called. Anyway, because they have to go up into the mountains and do rescues, and there is like snow everywhere, and like it's like feet deep on like roads. Snowcat, thank you. It's a snowcat. And I never contemplated that somewhere that was a desert, like southern Utah, would get snow. I mean, there's mountains. I don't know what, but like we've got the Great Dividing Range, which is a massive mountain complex through southeast Queensland. We don't get any snow on that. It's just not high enough. It just doesn't get the snow. So yeah, so it's so weird. What, like, there's such a confluence of things that have to happen for somewhere to actually get snow. It's not just it's got to be cold enough, but it's also got to be high enough. There has to be enough moisture. Anyway, it's a lot. There's a lot of things that make it so it's snow. But like, you know, in watching this off-road recovery channel, which I'm actually enjoying a lot, I've learned that they get the majority of their water from snowmelt, which makes lots of sense. But I didn't know that they had to deal with snow. That was pretty interesting. Frankie says, apparently it snows at the Bluff nearly every year, but only usually once. Okay. Russell says, a recent epiphany I had was I was still measuring my YouTube success in terms of popularity versus sales. That ends this quarter. Awesome. Awesome. Because, like, you're so right. Being popular doesn't mean you're getting the sales. It doesn't mean you're getting that flow on. And like we all know, we've heard the horror stories of YouTubers with millions of subscribers putting out weekly content, consistently great content, getting great views, and they're out doing DoorDash because there's just not enough income. And you're just like, they are popular, but they're not getting the click through to their sales. They're not making enough money out of it. If you're relying, which you're not, Russell, relying on AdSense alone, you are going to be shocked at how little it is. Like, like this coming really funnily from me on this channel where I'm like, hey, help me get monetized, right? Because there's other reasons I want monetization, but all these small channels are like, if I can just get monetized, everything will be different. I'll start making more money. And why is it so hard to monetize? Why does it take so long to monetize? And you're sort of sitting there explaining to them like, hey, look, with these level of views, or even if it jumps up that little bit to hit monetization, it's going to be 6 months before you hit the $100 minimum threshold. I don't know what it is in the US. Australia, it's $100 minimum. And you're not going to all of a sudden hit monetization and be raking in thousands, not unless your channel has ridiculous, like not ridiculous, but big views. And if your channel has big views, you're probably not going, why can't I hit monetization? Because you probably hit it already. It's one of these things. Yeah, it's just one of these things. Amazing. Your destination is contrary to what I believe. The California ocean is cold. They had seaweed when I sailed past there. My brain could not compute that. What do you mean? Like, we have seaweed, but we've got warmish waters. Does seaweed need cold water? I'm so confused now. Maybe different kinds of seaweed require different types of temperatures. I don't know. But yes, different water bodies are different. Yes. Livestream Consult says I'm a lot further south than Utah. Oops. YouTube's like, hey, do you want to time this person out? No, I don't. I'm a lot further south than Utah. I'm 30 miles from the US-Mexico border. Yeah, so that would make it hotter, right? Sorry, I've got to think opposite. For me, south is colder and colder and colder. So for in the US, south is hotter and hotter and hotter. Is that right? And northern is cold. So northern is closer to Alaska and Canada. So colder and colder. Okay, all right. I think I've got it. Sorry, I do have to every now and again flip things because of that. Yes, that's correct. Thank you. Yes. Okay. All right. And yeah, and I suppose that would be like me getting snow because we're technically subtropics here. So getting snow in the subtropics would be weird. So yeah, I don't know. I think snow is one of those crazy things, and it's probably because I don't deal with it. I don't live in it. I don't have to allow for it in my day-to-day life. If it happens here, it will be an absolute freak occurrence, like a once in a 100-year event. Like, is it just me, or are once in 100-year events happening a lot more often than 100 years? Like, we've had a once in 100-year flood like 5 times in the last 15 years. So, yeah. It's like, no, this is the annual flood now. This is the annual flood. Or the, biannual flood. Sorry, I'm just going to wiggle a little bit and get comfy. It's a bit cold in here. Got my VidCon hoodie. When VidCon came to Australia, they made VidCon Australia merch. So I had to buy some. And also it's a full zip through hoodie, which is my favorite kind of hoodie. So, just as a total side topic, what kind of hoodies do you like? Do you like the full zip through, or do you like the pull it over your head ones? Yeah. Frankie says, I touched snow for the first time at Whistler in 2018. I was 55 years old. Technically, I've had snow fall on me, but there wasn't enough to touch anything. But I did have it fall on me when I was in New Zealand in 2017. But it wasn't enough to like, I couldn't, like where I was standing on a road, there was nothing there. It was a bit icy, but there was no snow. But I actually had snowflakes fall and land on me. That was an unreal experience. Hang on. There is a popular strategy exemplified by Daryl that has great success and created YouTube millionaires. It's a question of your objectives. Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to sit down and decide why you make, like, obviously it'd be nice. Let's have millions of views on every video. That would be cool. But also build your core audience that will come and do that click further and step into either a paid community or a paid community and a product or a book. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many alternatives. All right, let's have a look here. Livestream Consultants is Team Zip. Frankie is a Zip. Amazing Yacht Destination is Zips. Russell may not be a hoodie person by the sounds of it. Little Crafty Nook says that 25 years ago, Fargo had a 500-year flood. My daughter went up to help. My cousins live in MN. Okay, so ND is Fargo. ND is, I don't know what ND. MN is MN, Minnesota. I don't even know. What does ND? North Dakota. ND is North Dakota. I got it before Russell. I got it before Doug jumped into the chat. Okay. All right. It took me a second. All right. It took me a little second to realize where you were talking. I mean, I knew there were states in the US. Like, I knew that. I was just trying to. I was just like, ND. What is it? So it took me a minute. All right. I'm not quite caffeinated. Okay. But yeah, it's. I was actually watching a YouTube video. It was suggested to me. You know what YouTube's like, and I don't know why I was watching, but I watched it. And it was this American guy who he's currently living in Korea, and he was talking about Americans in different, like, he was using Reddit as an example, but just assuming that everybody understands the American like perspective, like, not so much understands, but everyone uses the American perspective. So yeah, it was just one of those things where it's just like, you know, they'll put in the name of a town, but like if someone asks me, like if I'm online and someone asks me where I'm from, I don't write Brisbane. I say Queensland, Australia. I don't even assume they know where Queensland is, Queensland, Australia. And you know, or Brisbane, Australia is something I'll write as well, Brisbane, Australia, or something like that. Whereas most people in the US would just drop their state. And you know, little things like that. There was lots of little things. They went in a massive deep dive, and it was a bit like, oh, okay, this is odd. Like I would expect this from someone who was not an American, but I think because he's been living outside of America for some time. What's the difference between a live and a live webinar? Look, I don't know in what context you're asking. But in my opinion, the difference between a live and a live webinar is in a live stream as such, sort of like this, it's more about doing something and interacting with the community. Whereas a live webinar tends to be more of a webinar with the occasional interaction. I've been in live webinars where they've not even interacted with the audience and you're sort of sitting there like, why is this even live? Honestly, why not send me to a pre-recorded webinar? So I don't know exactly. Yeah, I don't know if that's the context you're after. There's obviously a few other differences, but that would be from a viewer perspective. That would be the difference for me. Let me look here. John says, oh, I've received several emails from StreamYard inviting me back. Yeah, me too. Funnily how they're doing that now. They have lost a lot of people. I mean, they didn't lose everybody. Lots of people did stay. They were like, okay, well, I'm used to it. I'm not going to move on. But they're getting more and more janky. Like their streams are no longer as stable as they once were. Like, yeah, obviously every streaming service can have its issues, right? I'm not saying that they don't. No one's perfect. There's no one perfect streaming service. There's just not. But when you see top level streamers and they're buffering and it's not their end, like, you know, that's the service that they're using. John says, webinars tend to be gated. You need to register. That's actually a great point. You do tend to have to register for a webinar. Frankie says, I've been to live webinars that I'm pretty sure were pre-recorded. Yeah, I've been to ones where they're like, you have to be here at this time. This is the time of your webinar. And then you get there and it's definitely pre-recorded. And you're like, then why am I up at 2 a.m. in the morning trying to watch this webinar? I could watch this at any time. So, yeah. Yeah, you got a 40% discount offer from StreamYard. Yeah. I think they're going to have to do a lot more to get people back. Especially because it'd be like you'd have to leave again in 12 months to get the 40% off again. It wouldn't be like a going forward thing. Yeah, like I don't think there's any one perfect streaming software. Like, I've got streaming softwares that work well for me, that I'm comfortable with, that I'm used to. But that doesn't mean that they're perfect. I'm just used to them. Russell said, I was watching one of James Wedmore's webinars and he asks for comments and interacted with them. Guess there's a spillover. Webinars seem more structured than pure live streaming. Oh yeah, definitely. You've definitely got I would say a structure for sure. Because especially with a webinar, you've got to get through to, like, more often than not, a sales page at the end. So you need to keep people hooked and interested. So you're giving data, you're giving information, you're giving them whatever it is that they've signed up for, then asking for the sale at the end. And that's generally how I see webinars. There's usually a sale point at the end. James Wedmore does great webinars. I would say that his are exceptional because he really does interact with the live audience as well. There's such a huge effort made, but I'm not saying he's alone in this, but a lot of people do not go to the same effort. I would say that Pat Flynn does. I've been in webinars that top level live streaming people have done, and I was like, why do I have to be here live? Like, these people know how to do a live stream. These people know how to interact with their live audience. They just didn't, because it was a webinar. So yeah, I think if you're signing up for a webinar, you are expecting a different experience. I think that's the reality of it. You're happy with Talk Studio? Yeah, Talk Studio looks good. Like, it looks solid, and it's got a really great price point. Yeah, it was a solid option. Absolutely. I think what's happened is, like, StreamYard is not terrible, right? Like, I like to demonize StreamYard. I really do. And it's purely because of my sheer disappointment. But they doubled their prices and they didn't improve anything. As a matter of fact, as far as I'm concerned, they doubled their prices and they quartered their after sales service. Like, good luck if you need any help. Like, before, if you needed help, you got help. Whereas now you're like 3 days later, the message is, oh, this is a you problem. And you're just like, it's so not a me problem. I know what I'm doing here. It worked perfectly 57,000 times before you came along. But yeah, there are plenty of alternatives, and they're all just that little bit different. There is no direct replacement for StreamYard, and as there shouldn't be. Every streaming software will have its own benefits and downsides, and you need to go through them and choose for yourself. Now, the biggest sort of buckets is on your computer versus browser based. Some people need the browser based. Like, I personally, when I'm running interviews, the browser based was so awesome. And StreamYard really had it set up so simple and easy when you got guests that you didn't have to mess around with, like, moving people around. It automatically brought them in, and I loved that about StreamYard. The others are a little more like, oh, you can adjust everything exactly how you want it. It's like, cool, what's your defaults? Because I want to see what they are. Oh, we don't have any. And you're like, okay, cool, that's going to make it hard. So, you know, everything else, you kind of got to set it up a little bit. And once you've got it set up, you're probably fine to go for like forever. You just got to put that little bit of effort in, right? And then after deciding between, you know, like local device based and browser based, then on your local device based, is it PC, is it Mac? You know, because it's just one of those things. Let's have a look here. Of course, my live experience is here, and structure tends to break down rather quickly. Absolutely, it does. Sometimes real interaction can derail a focused presentation, though. And this is the thing, right? If you've got to do a focused presentation, and I've had to do this, I have to move the live chat out of my visual eye holes. So if I've come in and I'm a guest in someone else's webinar, I've run a webinar for somebody's Thinkific, I have to move the live stream away until it's my time to ask questions, and then I look at the live chat, because I do get derailed, and I know that. It is a failing, and I get that. But if you are running regular live streams, you need to work out what works for you and your audience, or the majority of your audience even. Let's have a look here. Okay. Oh, excellent. You've done some sciencing. Just for reference, I'm at 30 degrees north latitude. You're at 27 degrees south latitude. That would be the equivalent of being around Brownsville, Texas. And Brownsville rarely gets snow. Yeah. Yeah. We've got a spot that's maybe, I want to say about an hour and a half south of us. That, depending on how cold it is, I'll get a bit of snow there. But it's mountain. It's a mountain. So, you know, you expect it on a mountain. One technique James uses is asking questions and asking for answers in the comments. Those questions are key to the data that he wants to better quantify his avatar. He mines the comments for gold. I love that. That is good. I'm curious about the Streamlabs bundles. So that's Talk Studio. So Streamlabs is Talk Studio. Is that right? I think so. But honestly, my current setup works pretty well for me, and I don't need to spend more money. Yeah, it's one of those things. Like, OBS is solid, right? The things I like about OBS is pretty reliable. As long as your service is reliable, it's reliable. There is 11 billion tutorials out there to help you with StreamYard. With OBS. There's 11 billion tutorials out there for setting up pretty much any kind of stream you want to. There's tutorials on how to do all of the different plugins and, you know, all that extra stuff. That's all there. And it's all free, right? The downside is it's a little bit fiddly and it's got a bit of a learning curve. But let's be honest, most of these softwares have a learning curve. So whatever you change to, you're going to have to sort of learn. It may even come down to like video editing, right? Like, you know, you need to do a ripple delete, but what is it called in this software and what's the shortcut for it and how can I do it? You want to add a video, but are you adding it to a scene? Are you know, like, what is it? You've just got to learn the different layouts. So it's one of those things, like, you know what you want to add, you just got to work out where it is. Livestream Consultant says, I'm currently tinkering Talk Studio for multi-platform streaming. Jury is still out until I run it for a while to flush out any bugs. Because Meld is doing multi-platform streaming now, as I think I saw an announcement last week. Yeah, Streamlabs is Talk Studios. Yeah, it was formerly Slobs, and then they had to get rid of that because they stole, you know, OBS. And John says, and as a bit more of a power user of OBS, some of the things that Streamlabs have done to simplify would be annoying for me. Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Like, you are a solid OBS guy. You're an OBS guy. You're where people go to learn OBS, right? I don't know if it would be. I mean, it wouldn't hurt to learn it, honestly. But yeah. There is a difference between the OBS Streamlabs OBS and Streamlabs Talk Studio. Talk Studio used to be Melon. Okay, all right. Yeah, I remember Melon. I remember it was a weird name. But yeah. Okay, so it's more like StreamYard. And is Talk Studio, is it browser-based or desktop-based? Because I thought it was desktop-based. But it could be browser-based. And if it's browser-based, can I bring in a guest? I'm going to have to go and check in and have a look at that. Russell says, I'm 27 degrees north, no snow, but 150 miles of coastline. Oh, yeah. Okay, so Talk Studio is browser-based. Why did I think Talk Studio was desktop-based? Maybe because I was thinking of it as a direct replacement to Slobs, which was desktop-based. All right. I'm going to have to go back in and look at Talk Studio again, because I'm looking at bringing in guests, and I need an easy way to bring in guests. And while Ecamm will absolutely bring in guests, I've got janky Australian internet, so I have to deal with not just the software but also the internet. So we have to all work out what works for us as individuals. What was that? Something just jumped off my shelf. Yarn just jumped off my shelf at me. It's telling me go and knit a sock. It's literally grey sock yarn just jumped off the shelf. Louis, that's not for you, mate. Louis is like, oh, I want that so much. It's not for you. Okay. So Talk Studio is basically the browser-based version of the software. Okay. And yes, we have guests, and it's easy, the same as StreamYard. All right, I'm gonna have to bring it. Because I did go and open it, and I grabbed a free version, free trial, and used it. But I think I was free trialing like 5 different softwares in a week, and I must have gotten them a bit confused. Okay, so Streamlabs desktop. All right, I think this is where I've gotten confused. I just assumed that it was just one software, but it's actually 2 different versions. All right. I have a Talk Studio account. I had the free account. I'll see if it still works. I'll go and log in. and have a look at that, because that may be, it may actually be the thing that I needed. It may actually be the thing that, because I remember it was the one that was like, I want to say about $130 for 12 months when I was being told that that StreamYard was going up to $90 per month. So yeah, because I think I was looking at the premium offering. I think that's what it was. And I think that might've been where I got confused. All right. Okay. Well, yeah, as I said before, they're all a little bit different. So, all right, Frankie. Yeah. Yeah, because I remember looking at it thinking, this was such a good price. Russell says, I do guests but not live, so I use Descript rooms. Yep, that's cool. That's cool. How do you find the video recording quality in Descript? I've been hearing it's quite good, but I don't use Descript, so I don't know. But I'm assuming it's got to be good enough, otherwise you wouldn't be using it. I think Streamlabs Ultra was the bundle I was looking at. I think that was the bundle I was looking at, the Ultra. I remember Ultra. It's 8 different things, including the video podcast editing. And I don't know if they had that when I was looking at it. Yeah. Not so much streaming. I don't think you can live stream, but you can have live meetings within Descript. Russell will know better than I do. So yeah. So yeah, but yeah, Ultra is what I was looking at. Like, I'm just gonna open it up and look at it and just see if my login works. No, I type in stream and the little duck appears and I'm like, I'm not going there. Streamlabs Ultra. I can't type. Okay, so it's $189 per year. I mean, I was looking at it a couple of years ago. Like, let's be honest, the price has probably gone up. But $189 per year compared to that $90 per month that StreamYard want. Like, seriously. Let me just see if my login still works. It's looking positive. Alrighty, let me have a look. Well, there is Streamlabs free. Let me look here. You can stream up to 4 hours a week with a watermark. Let me just see if I can screen share with you. Let me just... and Doug's going to have another crack at Meld for testing purposes. Yeah, I've installed Meld and started setting up a stream, but I haven't actually hit go live yet. I've just set up, you know, a camera and all that sort of stuff. There we go. That's what we want. Alrighty. So this is what I was looking at. I was looking at the Ultra because I don't like a watermark. Let me know in the chat. Are you all right with a watermark? I don't like a watermark personally. So you get full access to all the features. No watermark. 1080p streaming. 1 hour videos with 250 gig of storage. 40 hours of upload with 250 gig of storage, multi-stream and more. Is there, I would like to see more information before I click any of this stuff. Cross clip, video editor. Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it, Doug? Doug's saying I have to rejig my camera setup because one of the things I'll say about Ecamm is it lets you bring a Canon camera in, plugged in as a USB as a webcam, no additional software required. Livestream consultant says that's the wrong plan site for Talk Studio. Where am I? I'm on Streamlabs Ultra. Streamlabs, so like, all right, let's go Talk Studio. Streamlabs Talk Studio. Let me just, I'm just gonna go back to the main screen while I log in. There's other levels as well. I thought it just felt like it was weird. Let me just see if it's Okay, I see. It's let me log straight in. Excuse me. Excuse me. No gruffing in here. You can go and sit with Dad if you're going to gruff. Go and sit with Dad if you're going to gruff. Let's look here. It's literally just dropped me straight into the Streamlabs, like, because you can get free, right? I'm a bit perplexed actually. I'm like, how did I even get in here? All I did was log in. It's a bit like StreamYard, you log straight in and it's just like boom. So let me just go back here to don't log in. That was a mistake. That was my mistake in logging in. It looks so similar to the setting up for StreamYard. You're right. So we'll just Google the pricing. All right, Streamlabs pricing. Let's look here. I literally type stream. Yeah, that's what I want. Let's look here. Okay, so this is just for Streamlabs Talk Studio. Okay, this is not the pack. It's just Talk Studio. So you can get a basic plan for $9. I'm assuming this is US dollars. $9 US a month. No watermark. 720p. Local recording, multiple cameras, and that's a big thing because I need 2 cameras. So quite often the multiple cameras is chucked into the pro plans. 15-day recording storage, that doesn't seem very long, but all right. Up to 3 seats for co-hosting. So if you want to do basic live streaming with guests with 720p, $9 a month works. And I think this was the thing. I think I was looking at the $17 a month for the Pro. Let's switch it to the annual because I'm an annual guy. So it drops straight to $12 a month for annual. That's actually great value. 1080p. I like to stream at 1080p personally. If I can, I want to. Like, I can't always, but if I can, I want to. Let me have a look here. We just dropped to that as our Patreon took a hit. Okay. Yeah, and sometimes you have to make financial decisions, you know? Like, I de-Adobe'd my life because of financial decisions. I had to, it was just one of those things. I just couldn't justify spending 90 Australian dollars a month for Adobe when I had other options for my personal stuff. It just meant I had to learn something else. Like, so instead of spending 90 a month on Adobe every month, and if I re-signed up, I was locked into 12 months again. I cancelled it. And then I waited a couple of months, paid for Affinity, got lifetime license for and lifetime for like $200. Which gives me everything except for video editing. And then because I've got all the Macs, I waited another couple of months and then got what's that? What is it? What's the Mac editing software? My friend just won't tell me. Final Cut Pro. It gave me Final Cut Pro. So yeah. Yeah, that ship has sailed, right? I love Affinity. I'm still learning it. I'm not great at it, but I'm still learning it. Livestream Consult says, on a side note, you can feed Talk Studio with the full OBS RTMP signal and bypass the studio's interface. You can go live right from OBS through Talk Studio connection. Interesting. That is an interesting thing as well. My question is, and I'm just looking for it, is can we bring in alpha level things like my buy me a coffee widget that pops up? So I'm just looking for that. So bear with me while I read that. Doesn't look like they say it's a thing. Yeah, the alpha level overlays is what I'm after. And browser sources. Yes, I want both of those. don't know if it does. Yeah, so the Ultra gives me, it does give me Talk Studio. So I get Talk Studio included in it. But yeah, it's definitely worth checking out, honestly. Go in and dig through them and work. Oh, hello. Go in and dig through them and work out if they're a good fit for you and for your personal workflow and if they do what you want them to do. I'm going to have a bit of a better dig to work out if I can add in browser overlays, but I don't think you can. Can add overlays with transparency, so I could create scenes with transparent overlays, which is good. But I may not be able to have the browser sources, which for me is a deal breaker. I use so many browser sources, it's not funny. Like we can't have our social stream GIFs if we don't have browser sources. You know, it can't have any of that if we don't have browser sources. So, you know, they're basically instantly ruling out a whole level of streamers because they don't allow these things. You can have browser sources in EVMux, so it's not a limitation of technology per se. It's a limitation of what they want to add for, you know, the dollar level that they're giving you. So I definitely want to go in and check into it more because I could be wrong. I did some digging a couple of years back, which actually doesn't feel like a couple of years back, but it was definitely a couple of years back. And then just what I've looked at today. So I definitely want to dig some more, but I love the idea of it for guesting and things like that. But if I can't have, you know, the interaction with you guys as well, like, I don't know. So is this owned by your friends at Streamlab? I don't have any friends at Streamlab, but yes, these are owned by Streamlab. So Streamlab did some awful stuff a while back, but that seems like they've really tried to sort themselves out. But it's not owned by StreamYard. It's not. It's Streamlab and StreamYard are different companies. Applaudable Tech, great to see you in the house. Let's see. If you could use Talk Studio as the connection point and OBS as the overlays, browser and sources, possibly. But if I've also got a guest, I would have to do some testing because it's also going to come down to what my internet can handle. Because while I've got decent internet for Australian standards, it's actually crap compared to the rest of the world. So yeah. Yeah, see, that's the thing. If you're bringing in guests, you're only controlling the window. Yeah. Talk Studio does allow browser sources. I'll have to do some digging because it's the browser sources that are the deal breaker for me. So yeah. Oh, is Streamlabs owned by Logitech now? Wow, how long have they? When did that happen? I'm looking into that. Because I know that Logitech tried to have their own streaming thing for a while, and it was janky. 2019, okay, all right, that's probably about when I last checked. It's like, let me know in the chat, does 2019 actually feel 6 years ago for you? Because it does not feel 6 years ago for me. It feels like last year or the year before. Like, I think about what I was doing in 2019, off to VidCon Australia, all sorts of like things I was up to. I was doing my whole world was different in 2019. Now nothing. I do nothing. Like as in going places. I don't really go anywhere. Yeah, Yeah, I mean, the same deal. I would use Ecamm. I would use it as a virtual camera into, but same deal. I would only, like, if you guys GIFed it up, it would only appear in my window. It wouldn't appear everywhere. Russell said I wasn't even on YouTube in 2019. Oh my gosh. So maybe it does feel older for you. Gosh. No, it is weird. Feels like forever. I was traveling heaps and having fun. Yeah. 2019 was your first Vid Summit. Did I say Vid Summit or VidCon? Because I went to VidCon in 2019, not Vid Summit. VidCon came to Australia for 3 years, and I went every year, and I would have gone every year more if they had have kept coming back, but they did not. Yeah, I think that's what happened. It did really mess with clocks. Because I used to just think 5 years ago felt forever, but now it doesn't. But outside of the novelty of playing with something new, what is the point of changing tools? That is an excellent point. Like, so for me, I'm actually actively looking for something I can bring guests in. So that's where I'm looking at this from. But if you are happy with your tools and they're doing what you need to do, and you are happy with the price point, happy with the quality of service, happy, there is no real reason for you to jump ship and play with other stuff. However, in saying that, I highly recommend people get comfortable with the second software, because if something happens, and heaven forbid, but if something happens, you want to look at, you don't want to have to not do your stream because that one streaming software is down. You want to be able to comfortably jump into another. Like right now, on OBS on my computer here, I actually have all these same scenes set up. And when I change a scene here, I try to remember to add it over there. Now, it might be a little bit out of date, but all my basic overlays and graphics and things like that, they're all there. So that if for some reason Ecamm was down, it might take me an extra couple of minutes to get going, but I could still get going with OBS. VidCon in Melbourne was like a month before Vid Summit. So the VidCon 2019, that was the year, I think, off the top of my head, that Nick, Dee, and Andrew all came to Australia for VidCon. And that was the time I got to meet them all in real life. And it's the only time I've met Andrew and Dee in real life. I've since met Nick last year. But yeah. Gosh. Perhaps it's a function of how much things have changed for you or not since 2019. Yeah, everything changed. But that's the thing. Everything changed since 2019. Like, legitimately. Like, my whole business focus has changed. Like, Fiberific was a thriving business in 2019. It paid for me to travel down to Melbourne and get, you know, a nice hotel and tickets, like, which level tickets? I didn't get creator. I got industry pass tickets and things like that. So it was that side of my business was totally different as well. Also, my health didn't mean I had to cancel everything. So yeah, lots changed since 2019, I suppose. But I still, like, if I think about all the things that have happened over the years, a lot has happened. But for some reason, my brain still thinks of 2019 as not that long ago. But maybe just everything changed at once, so it put it all in together. I don't know. I don't know the answers to this. If you're a solo streamer streaming, then your software is enough. Just have a backup software. If you are in need of guests and webinar and teaching and training and such, then other software is needed. Yeah, I would definitely agree with that statement, for sure. So I love Ecamm. I think Ecamm's fantastic, and I think if I had better internet, I would just get comfortable with the guesting features on Ecamm. But unfortunately, I don't have that better internet. And so I can't rely on it. Like, I've used it and it's fine. But I definitely wouldn't be able to have 2 guests. I could definitely only have 1. And I had to stream at 1080p. I had no other options because I have to bring their stream down and send a stream back out with both of us in it and have the computer, you know what I mean? Like, the computer coped fine, but it was the internet that wasn't coping. So that's why I loved having StreamYard. It was a great browser source option, especially for bringing in guests and things like that. Now, one thing I will say, and if those of you that have used Ultra or the I can't think of the name of it. It's right there. It does not have its name written anywhere. Talk Studio just jumps out of my head. Those of you that have you noticed any compression? Because I noticed a significant difference between when I was streaming to StreamYard at 1080p versus streaming with Ecamm at 1080p. There's a marked difference. So StreamYard absolutely compressed the video file. There's no doubt about it. Did I care? Probs not. Like, whatever. It did what I needed it to do. Compression was the price I was paying. But now I've gotten very used to not having the compression. I think if I was heavily compressed again, I don't know if I would be happy. So I would have to test it and see. But yeah, let me know if you've noticed any compression. Oh, I agree. Oh, Oswish, you've switched accounts. You switched accounts. StreamYard smashes the quality with compression as compared with OBS. Oh yeah, absolutely. And same as Ecamm. Ecamm, I've noticed a marked difference. It compressed the life out of it. Livestream Consultant says, at the moment, Talk Studio is looking like a viable replacement for StreamYard. As to compression, I have not noticed it yet. Price-wise, it's phenomenal. It's cheaper than StreamYard ever was. So like a pro plan on StreamYard was about for $25 to $35 depending what discount and sales you got, right? And a little bit more if you were going monthly. But this is monthly, it's 17 for Talk Studio, or 12 for if you do it annually. Now I do like the look, so that's $145 a year. So if you want to go pro plan, $145 a year, you may be just as good to jump to the Ultra to get the access to some of the extra features for the extra $50 a year. So, you know, if you look at it and watch it. But yeah, I'm just going to click join with Ultra and see what happens. Let me look here. What does it give me any information? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I mean, I'm not gonna pay for it right now. I'm just gonna think about it. But yeah, it's definitely a big saving. It's definitely a big saving. I need to go. Oh, no worries, amazing at destination. Have a great day. Or better buzz. Doug's stream was amazing this week. It was so good. Livestream Consultant says, I still have my StreamYard account at $35 a month for comparisons. Yeah, I just recently cancelled mine. My annual plan just ran out, and so I cancelled it. I was like, what's the point of paying for it? Oh my gosh, Kajabi prices. Absolutely. Yeah. But like what you get for your Kajabi is so different. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, Kajabi prices are a bit scary. But yeah, these prices are great. Like honestly, these are such good prices. And if it's a stable platform, so this like nothing is good value if the platform's not stable, honestly. So those of you that have used this, how do you feel about that? Have you felt that the platform itself was stable? Did you know, buffering and bringing in guests and things like that? How's your user experience been? Because I haven't tested it. I'm definitely very curious. Like nowhere in the signing up pages does it say anything about browser, that it allows browsers. Maybe it's like for them, it's just, oh yeah, whatever. Of course we have browsers. It's not even worth putting on our list of things. I like that they've got the disconnection protection as well, which is very StreamYard-esque. So yeah, just I like that if you have a free account, they don't try to get your credit card. That's pretty cool as well. But yeah, it's definitely interesting. I'm just looking at the actual sales page for Streamlabs Ultra, and it gives you a lot more. It does actually give you a lot more. Oh, thank you, Doug. It's a good point. I've noticed my voice is getting raspy and sore. Livestream Consultant says it's worked so far for multi-streaming. I'm going to check it out next for guesting. Awesome. They've got an option here for Video Editor Pro for professional editing and collab tools. So that might be a way, like for those of you that are looking for new options for editing as well that aren't CapCut. The Streamlabs Ultra might be just the ticket, because they do have turn your VODs into must-see TikToks and Reels. So they've got their Cross Clip Pro, and then they have their Podcast Editor Pro, which is their text-based editing. And what I actually like about that is even if you're on the free account, you get an hour that you get to play with. So you can see if I like that they made it so their free accounts have a little taste of things and a useful taste of things. It really gets my goat when a free account's like, yeah, you can try out this tool, and then you get in there and you're like, you've got this for 5 minutes starting now. And you're just like, oh my gosh, okay, and then you just like, you waste your free 5 minutes, or, it's probably not that bad, but you know what I mean? It's just like, this is silly. It gets my goat. I realize I've probably said that a lot. Looks like Talk Studio wants 20 megabits per second up with guests. I'll have to have a look at that. Where are you seeing that, Russell? Just out of curiosity, because I don't understand why it needs more for guests if it's handling the guests. Let's have a look here. I'll have to do some more digging in, because it definitely looks like a solid option. I also like EV Mux, right? Like, don't get me wrong, I do like EV Mux as well. So yeah. The screaming goat command. I know that's the one I was thinking of when he was saying, when he did that. I was like, oh, I need to get that goat gif. I do. And I think we're thinking of the same one. But yeah, it definitely looks solid. Especially for those, because I know there was a lot of free users on StreamYard. I was never a free user because I don't like a watermark, right? I like my branding to be on my streams, not someone else's branding. Unless, of course, they've paid me, right? But I suppose I was about to say, or they let me use something for free. And I was thinking Creator Mix, but technically speaking, if they're letting me use their software for free. But I do get frustrated when you get the free thing, but it's at 720p, and you're just like, I have to put up with all this other stuff plus this. Because 720p is a deal breaker for me. It's a deal breaker. So I want 1080p, and I want browser, and I want guesting. They're the three big. Oh, and alpha overlays. So 4 things that I really want out of a browser software. The guesting is a big one. But yeah, I'll definitely need to go back in and have another look. Maybe I will have to see if I can con somebody into jumping on one of my friends. Yeah, look, and this is the thing, right? EV Mux is great, and but it was more involved. It offers more than StreamYard did. There was definitely more where you can make it your own. There's a word for that, and I cannot think of it. Oh my gosh, my brain today is just awful. customization. There's definitely more customization in EVMux than there was in StreamYard, but StreamYard had its own benefits as well. So I did an AI inquiry. All right, I'll have to have a look into that. That's what happened to me at Uscreen. I spent way too much money before I could release the course. Then I didn't get any response for several months, so I just quit. Yeah, look, like Russell and I both follow this guy called James Wedmore, right? And he is an avid, what's the word? He truly believes in sell it before you build it. So you've got income coming in while you're building something. And if you can do that, it's so much less stressful. And you have in like your beta group and they know you're building it for them as such. So it's like a custom experience for them. So they get it at a discounted price. And they come in and then you build it as, you know, because like the big example is you build, say you build like a 20, you know, a 20 step course or 20 video course, right? You've gone through, you've filmed all 20 videos, finally sell it. Someone buys it and goes, well, actually, I don't need 15 of these, but what I really need is this thing here, this one thing that you did not make a course out of. So you spent all that time and people don't need half of it, but you missed the thing that they actually really wanted. So it's one of the things with James Wedmore is very much about, it's not a build it and they will come. It's a sell it and then build it kind of experience. I know I've oversimplified it. That's the word, monetize before you make it. I knew he had a particular thing. But yeah, it was definitely, I really like that style of thinking because these people that come into your beta, they actually help you build it in a way because I've got real time feedback on if that thing was worth their effort or not, and then build the next thing. So yeah. John says, also my experience with browser-based streaming apps is they don't really play nicely with video overlays with transparency. Yeah, I do that. I do that as well. Russell says I did my beta with that method. Yeah. And look, I know you've already done the other way. Little Crafty Nook, I know that you already made the course and that you tried to sell it that way and it didn't work out that way and you were paying the Uscreen prices. And I love the team at Uscreen, but right now the Uscreen costings are, for what I would like, they're a little prohibitive because like the second you add community on, the price goes crazy and you guys know I'm all about that community. So I think I would like personally probably go for an alternative, but I would need to look into it more. Honestly, I would. And it would depend on what was the price point of my course. And there's all these sort of factors that come into play because the sales of the course need to cover the cost of the course platform, right? So if you're selling your course for $5 and your course platform's like $100 a month and you can't sell 20 a month, then, you know, I might be looking at it wrong. Russell might have a different perspective on that. But yeah, I don't know. I think the cost of the courses should cover the course platform costs. But anyway. Frankie says, I love playing with EVMux, but the only reason the only reason that we didn't end up using it was the guests couldn't see what I was putting up on the screen properly as they couldn't get a fix, and they couldn't get a fix happening. That would be frustrating. How much is StreamYard Core these days? I bought a Black Friday deal years ago and it rolls over at $96 a year for $8 a month. Is that the proper price? I can't see it. No, it's nowhere near that. It's the core prices is a lot more than that. I would be checking your email. I had a price that I had locked in and I got an email last month explaining that the price was going up to their current pricing. When that annual thing went to roll over, so it was going to double my pricing. So I was just like, make sure the credit card attached to that account is not great, and also cancel the account. When I cancel an account, I change the credit card because I've actually had companies where I cancelled it and they still charge me and I had to fight the charge to get my money back. So now it's an automatic behavior. they didn't hit the card. They were fine, but it's an automatic behavior now that I have. Let me see if I can find the core pricing. StreamYard. I typed satire yard, so let's try again for StreamYard or pricing. So I think you have to actually be logged in now to look at the pricing, which I think is dodgy as. Core pricing is now billed yearly. Is that billed yearly? Yeah, billed yearly is $35.99 a month. Billed monthly, it's $44.99 for core pricing. Yeah, so yeah, they do. They make you log in to look at the pricing, which I also think is dodgy as. Yeah, Livestream Consultants is current StreamYard pricing is $44.99 for core and $88.99 for advanced. Yeah, so if they let you have that for $96 a year again, I would take it. You know, it's a good backup software as long as it's doesn't die, because at the moment I'm just seeing so many different streams get janky. But for $96 a year, it's a decent enough backup. If it rolls over to that, awesome. But it wants me to do a quiz to work out which plan, or I could just close that window. Yeah, bye StreamYard. I was just looking at your pricing. Yeah, so that was the thing. I was on the pro plan. So I was jumping up from about $30, $35 a month to the $88.99 a month, and that is US dollars. So converting it to Australian, because I pay annual as well. So my price, they sent me a thing, we're going to be charging you like $840 US dollars. And I'm thinking, oh, hell no, you're not. Because it's just like, that'd come out to be about, I don't know, 1,400 Australian dollars. Like, I can buy a new Mac Mini for that money, like easily. I could buy a good Mac Mini for that money. And I'm just like, no, I'm happy with Ecamm for right now. Thanks very much. Except I want to bring in guests and I need an alternative for that. So yeah. We'll see how it goes. I'm very curious about this Talk Studio. And the pricing is, how do I put it? The pricing is so good that it's totally worth opting in just to test it out. Oh yeah, I can't see an email yet, but I'll keep a closer eye to Black Friday. Yeah, absolutely. Just keep aware. The Ecamm thing does work. Okay, so the guesting does work. The catch is, I'm on Australian internet, and it, unlike the browser source, as you know, unlike the browser-based internet, when you have to download it to your computer and then push it back out again, it uses so much data. It uses so much. And with one guest, I'm okay at a 1080p stream. With two guests, it's not working. But one guest, I'm okay. If I've got more than one guest, it doesn't work, because I have to have everybody's individual thing come out and then come down and then push them out. Now I've got, here I'm paying for 100 down, 40 up. The reality is I've usually got, about 100, 105 down, but I've more likely got 30 up rather than the 40. And so as long as I'm keeping around 20, I'm fine. No issues whatsoever. I start pushing over that 20 and I start noticing a couple of things. And that is my internet. That's not the streaming software. That is my limitation on this end. And I can't upgrade my internet here short of paying for a company to come and roll out the fiber optic to my property, which the last quote was a little over $10,000. So until because they're slowly rolling out the fiber optic in more suburbs, until they actually roll it out and I can just pay for the connection from my house to the road, then that would be great. And the other thing, my pet peeve about the rolling out thing, right? No one outside Australia is going to care about this. my pet peeve is if one person pays to have their connection done, like say I paid for me to have my connection done, anybody in the couple of streets could then just pay the house to the road price to connect to the piece that I had to pay for. So yeah, it's just one of those things. Let me see. Build for the advanced plan, $827 for StreamYard. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And Ecamm, it does work. And that's the thing. One guest is solid. Any more than one, not so much. Russell says there's a whole lot of woo around thinking from the place of I need to see that if it will return more than I invest in my goals before I invest. I don't know. Like for me personally, like I need to know that I'm not going to end up out of pocket, or at least not out of pocket by a lot, right? So I'm not paying Kajabi money for my course, even if I start selling it before I build it, right? Even monetize before you make it, right? I still won't be putting it on Kajabi. I will put it, at least the beta will go somewhere else. Even though I do like Kajabi, I think Kajabi is fairly solid. The beta will go somewhere else. I think you need to be a little bit realistic and making sure you're breaking even or pretty close to even. You don't want to be going too far backwards. At least in that beta phase. I don't know. I think it's going to come down to the individual and what kind of business they've got behind them. Really. Yeah, I agree. And that's how I felt about that live stream bill when I saw that was $827 US. It may as well be $11 billion. And the other thing is that I was already on Ecamm and I'm already, happy there. So what was the point of paying that extra money for my backup service, which is what it essentially became? Like the backup service was going to cost 3 times more than my primary service. That makes no sense to me. But it might to you. Oh yeah, the fiber to the premises. It like that thing where if you pay for it, everyone else can jump on. Yeah, I get it. But usually most of the people that join BBD are already in a position where they have some funding behind them. And I get that. I do. And I do get that it will probably keep me small. I understand that. But I don't have income to risk on something that could end up putting me out of pocket thousands of dollars. There's no other income coming in to cover that. But if you have another business already behind you that can cover those sorts of losses, you can write them off in tax, whatever. That's a whole different story. And I think we're just coming at things from a different perspective. So yeah, Russell says not true. Which bit's not true? But anyway, as I wait for Russell to come back, because I just want to clarify. Is it I'll wait for you to, I wasn't like I can guess, but we'll just wait for you to clarify. But yeah, so I personally don't have money I can afford to throw away. So, let me look here. For me, if Talk Studio works out, even with the weak internet connection such as I have at my home location, I will drop StreamYard permanently. Yeah, because you've got real dodgy internet, don't you? Like from what I recall, yours was real janky. Like I complain about my Australian internet, but I do have decent internet. Like it's totally better than what I used to have. Like this is so much better. When I first started streaming, I had 4 megabits per second. I had 8 down and it was like 2 or 3 up. And then I moved over to a new internet plan, which got me like, I think it was like, I want to say 10 or 15 down, but then like 5 up. And I was just like, yeah, this is gold. And then I went on to this one, which was like 40. I was just like, ha, 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 ha. But yeah, when it comes to streaming with a guest, it's still not great. Let me see. Exactly the same. I got there involved with a group. It was very expensive, but they had businesses already, so I quit after my 6-month commitment. Yeah, look, I like BBD. I like the ideas behind it. I like how they run it. I like so much about it. I really do. And I highly recommend, if you're in a place for it, go for it. Honestly, no reservations. And I am probably the person who will end up not winning in BBD terms, not winning, because there are people in the world that can take risks, and whether they're scary or not scary, and they can take the risks. But I can't financially take those sorts of risks. Not in the current situations that we're at now. So every individual person has to look at their life, like mortgage, kids, all that sort of stuff. There's different, each person has their own different obligation. Actually, Russell's just, hang on. Many come into BBD every year with no program, no funding, kids and all the usual obligations, but I can understand how foreign and uncomfortable it is to jump without a parachute. Yeah, well, see, for me, I can't jump without that parachute. It's not fair to the rest of my family. And I know that the thinking as well, is it fair to the rest of the family that if you don't jump and it could succeed, right? I also get that. I understand it. And I understand that I will just help everybody else out of the plane and just keep holding on and land with the plane. Understanding that those planes are dodgy and I may still crash and die. So let's just take that analogy right to the end point. So yeah, let me see. I'm trapped on cellular here. Since it's after 7 p.m. right now, I'm getting 250 down, but I'm still only getting 4 up. Oh my gosh. Yeah, because we've got 5G here. I'm like, I have a 5G plan, and I notice the same thing. Like, I get like 400 down, but then I'll get like 3 up. So it's just like, so what's the point? Like, seriously, who needs a 400 download for cellular if they can't actually upload anything? Like what is it that, because obviously I'm coming at this from like I have no freaking idea kind of level. What is it that people would be doing that they need to download so much without actually uploading anything? I don't understand. I don't understand. Like, why not just balance it out a little bit? Like, I would like, why not make it say 200 down and 50 up? Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand the technology. I don't understand the technology. So what I'm asking for could be like legitimately like, oh my God, what are you even talking about? You have no idea. From somebody who probably does have an idea. I have no idea about that sort of stuff. Well, my friends, my voice is going again. It doesn't like me. I hope that you go and check out your channel banners. Make sure you're happy with them, and then move on to the next thing. Quick cursory glance. Go and jump onto your TV. Open up the app, search for your channel, find your channel, open your channel page, have a look at it. If you're happy, move on. If you're not, make notes of... What I did was I took a photo of my television and then circled the things in the photo that I wanted to move. That was it. Well, and that's the thing, like, and I agree, and I understand where you're coming from with this, Russell. Like, what would it look like if my efforts brought in another 50k or 100k a year? Absolutely, I do understand that. But what happens if it went minus 50k? Or minus 10k or minus 5k a year? Like, yeah, that's the catch. I'm not that person. I can't do that risk. Little Crafty Nook, thank you for that. So, all right, I'm going to run away. I will catch you all here next week, throat permitting. Hopefully I can be over all of this stuff. I'm a bit sick of being sick, like, let's be honest. And I hope you go and check out the channel art. Definitely check out Streamlabs Talk Studio and see if it'll work for you. If it doesn't, keep looking. And I will catch you all next time. Bye now.